3. Okay. Welcome to a new episode of Nate's MMA Corner. I'm Nate, and if you watch my show, you're in my corner. Okay, so today's... yeah, you're in my corner. Yeah. Okay, so today's episode is a post-fight show for UFC on Fox. Junior Dos Santos versus Stipe Miocic. And, wow, this fight was a war. And, yeah, let's get started with the main card. Let's go down the main card of UFC on Fox. And, yeah, the main event was a heavyweight clash between two top 5 ranked heavyweights in the UFC. Junior Dos Santos versus Stipe Miocic. Yeah, Stipe, this guy right here, he's a great guy. Yeah. I didn't have any preference on who I wanted to win this fight because, well, you know, as cool as Stipe is, you know, so is Junior Dos Santos. Oh, yeah, he's a great guy. Yeah, they're both great guys. Obviously met them both, and yeah, I just want to see them put on a good fight and really get credit, and no one really losing this fight. You know, whoever loses at least looks good, and then the winner advances and so forth. And this was pretty much a boxing match. Yeah, it's they're two heavyweights going at it, and pretty much both made it a boxing match. And yeah, Stipe, he tried for some takedowns to use his All-American Wrestling credentials, and yeah, it just wow. Junior's takedown defense is still there. He still has it, and yeah, the first couple of rounds I would say Stipe, you could say maybe won. Then the last 3 was pretty much Junior getting by, squeaking out each round, but Junior took a beating. They both took big beatings. It was a pretty brutal match. And yeah, Junior Dos Santos won by unanimous decision in this. And it looks like he won, yeah, 3 or 4 rounds on every judge's scorecards. That sounds about right to me. And in the later rounds, Junior went for a couple takedowns and got him, and wasn't able to do a whole lot with them, but it scored him some more points at least. And yeah, other than that, though, it was pure boxing clinic on both guys. They both landed some good, clean shots. There wasn't much kicks landed in this fight, and yeah, Stipe having his Golden Gloves experience, and Junior going through some intense boxing training. He loves the boxing. This was a great fight. Great fight. I was so happy that the fight kind of went the way it did, because more people know who Stipe is now. You know, everyone knew who Junior was, but more people knew who Stipe is. The fact that he was able to go through 5 rounds with Junior, and I hope he doesn't move down the rankings that much. And Junior, well, I of course hope he becomes champion again. That would be awesome. But the landscape right now is a little tied up with the interim champ and the heavyweight champ. Got to fight at some point. They got to sort this whole thing out, of course. So, yeah, that sums up the main event. Then on to the co-main event, which was a catchweight bout. It was supposed to be a lightweight bout, but Nate Diaz didn't make weight, and it was Rafael Dos Anjos versus Nate Diaz. Yeah, Nate Diaz was several pounds off the mark from making weight, and I don't think it really changed anything, because, well, Rafael made weight, and he put on a striking clinic, landing leg kick after leg kick throughout the whole entire fight, each and every round, really wearing out the speed and power of Nate Diaz by doing so. And yeah, Rafael Dos Anjos, he won by decision unanimous, and it was pretty much punches and kicks landed cleanly, especially the leg kicks. I can't stress that enough throughout the fight. And yeah, some of the judges even had it 30-26. So that's how lopsided this fight was. It was pretty much all Rafael dos Anjos. And yeah, I think if Khabib is not going to fight for the belt anytime soon, yeah, it makes sense. Give dos Anjos a shot at Anthony Pettis, the current lightweight champion. So yeah, we got ourselves a good, solid #1 contender at least. A guy coming off a couple of impressive wins, beating Ben Henderson and now Nate Diaz. So yeah, dos Anjos, you know, he's definitely earned his title shot with this fight. Then also in the heavyweight division on the main card, we had Alistair Overeem versus Stefan Struve. Now this one was like, who do I root for? I'm a big fan of both these guys. I've met Stefan Struve, he's a great guy, and Alistair Overeem's quite possibly my favorite UFC fighter, top to bottom. And it's probably either him or Alexander Gustafsson. And yeah, Overeem, he won by first round. It was KO punches. He pretty much got Stefan to the ground and ground and pound until it was Stefan just not answering the ref. And yeah, it was 4 minutes and 13 seconds into the first round. Yeah, it was a good comeback win for Alistair Overeem. He's been hit and miss, unfortunately, in the UFC. Now he's 3-3 in the UFC. And I think Stefan Struve, you know, he can come back from this. He can recoup and pick himself back up. So, yeah, it was an explosive, exciting fight at least. It definitely wasn't a snooze fest, and Alistair Overeem never has a boring match. That's why I love Alistair so much. And the same thing with Stefan Struve. He never has a boring match either. Yeah, so Alistair, he's definitely in that kind of bottom of the top 10 / depending on how you look at it, barely out of the top 10, depending on what rankings you're looking at. And I think a good 2 or 3 more wins for Alistair. He can definitely be fighting for that belt, as the heavyweight division kind of needs more contenders right now to choose from. Then also in the heavyweight division on the main card, we had Matt Mitrione versus Gabriel Gonzaga. Yeah, this one was a first rounder too. Matt Mitrione, he won by TKO punches round 1, and yeah, he just caught Gabriel early. And Matt Mitrione, he's definitely a beast with knockout power, and he's definitely the kind of guy that he's learning over the years, transitioning from football to mixed martial arts and really dedicating his time to mixed martial arts, training hard. And Matt has an underrated ground game, I think, too, but his key to a lot of his victories is his heavy hands, his knockout power. He knows how to best utilize those, work those hands pretty good. So that wraps up the post-fight show for UFC on Fox. Junior Dos Santos versus Stipe Miocic. And then real quick, my predictions for the main event of the next UFC card is I'm picking Lyoto Machida over CV Dollaway in the middleweight main event. And then I'm picking Renan Barão in the co-main event in the bantamweight division. I'm picking Renan over Mitch Gagnon. I think Mitch is talented, but it's not his time yet, and he still needs a few more fights under his belt before he can really give a guy like Renan a run for his money. So yeah, that sums up my show, and until then, see ya.